my team there was doing, 50 million a year, over 100 transactions in Chicago. Then I moved here full time right away. So I kind of just did a cold turkey situation. They've been working for 6 months and they haven't gotten a dime,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's no way to get into the feeling of a business when you're working with someone's asset and you're like, they're so like desperately hungry for money. I was like in Hawaii on vacation with my family and I'm like thinking, God, my listing like hasn't sold yet. And I'm like, I feel so bad for my sellers and like I feel like I've tried to give them the best advice I can and like tears you apart.
Today's episode is brought to you by Andy Bovinder, the founder of the Bovinder team out of the Carolinas. Him and his team have helped more than 5,000 families, totaling more than $2.5 billion in sales, which is absolutely incredible. Meaning, if you have a client who's been thinking about making a move to or from the Carolinas, they are the team to call. Today's episode is with Rachel Hausman Masse, and we talk about how she built a business in Chicago and then relocated to Idaho and rebuilt a business there while running the two simultaneously. We also get into marketing, strategic thinking about feeder markets, and how she approaches client care. So there's a lot to unpack with this one, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to hang out with Rachel and other amazing guests, then take a look at the link below for the Inner Circle group. It's a group of agents. It's a mastermind group, but it's a little bit more, where we get together 2 times a month and we share ideas, we share best practices, and we help each other grow our businesses. Simultaneously, it's an opportunity for us to share referrals. So if that's something you're interested in, again, find the link in the description below. And as always, I'm your referral partner out of San Francisco, Sean Kunkler. All right, so I want to hit the ground running. Most agents that I talk to, most agents that we all collaborate with, they are prisoners to one zip code, and they feel like if they don't go out of it, the deal is going to die. Or if they do go out of it, rather, they get out of their comfort zone. They're a specialist in one
Totally.
hyper specific market. And you are not only surviving, but you're thriving in 2 different markets, which are in 2 different states. So I really want to understand how you're doing that.
Well, so I'm from Chicago, and in my Chicago market specifically, my mom and I always focused on Buffalo Grove, but
Mhm.
which is one zip code, but we went by county. So some people go by county, some people go by city, depends on
Mm-hmm.
their market. But in Chicagoland, we went from the city pretty much all the way to the Wisconsin border. Um,
Okay.
and part of that was just suburban sprawl. Not everyone stays in one suburb. And
Mm.
so I, like in my 20s, was really like, I'll work anywhere and I'll get to know every city I could. So in the Chicagoland suburbs, I went all over, and my past client reach spans like a very wide map. Um, so that, early on kind of taught me, to learn different markets, like different
Mhm.
cities have different markets. I worked within like 2 or 3 counties pretty much.
Mhm.
And then Chicago has literally nothing to do with Idaho. Most people in Chicago don't even know where Idaho is. They often ask me, how is Iowa or how is Colorado? That's how disconnected the Midwest is from Idaho. They don't even know it's in the Pacific Northwest. Um, and it was weird because I was guilty of this. I remember I was showing a house in Highland Park, which is like the north shore of Chicago suburbs where my husband and I bought our first house.
Nice.
And I was at a showing and there was another child of real estate showing a house with me. Her mom, Margie, was a big North Shore agent.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, we just got back from Sun Valley, Idaho." And I was like, "Hannah, what are you talking about? What is Idaho?" Like, I went to college with one kid from Moscow, Idaho. And if he was like true representation of Idaho then, like that really like was confusing for me. So anyway, when years later my sister told me she was moving to Idaho, I was like, "What are you talking about? Like where is that?" So anyway, it's one thing I think to move from, like you're in LA and you go work in San Francisco, right? Like that's a
Mhm.
very popular kind of or a common move.
They're feeder markets. Yeah.
Yeah. But to go from a state to a state that has no relation to it, I think has enough difficulty in itself.
Yeah.
I think if you're an agent and you're looking, like Miriam Bayer, I think she's in Cape Cod and Park City. Those are two very different markets that maybe have some crossover, but not much, Utah versus the East Coast. Um,
Yeah.
so it's different, and I think it makes it more difficult in some respects. Um, but needless to say, like if you live in and work in one city and you're trying to maybe you vacation in another part of the United States and you want to grow your business there, like Chicago and Florida has a lot more crossover.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of Chicago agents that do that. Um, but bear in mind like what skills or what networking you need to do to kind of expand that crossover market, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you lost me a little bit, but so Idaho and Chicago don't, I mean, there's a handful of states in between the two. And so
Yeah.
they don't,
Yes.
it sounds like there's not, you don't have a client correlation between the two. So they're completely two different siloed
Very isolated
that
from
are
each
not
other.
feeding each other. So I'm so confused.
Why did I go there?
Um, so your primary residence is in Idaho?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So we
And
moved
so
here.
where's the primary bulk of your transactions? Like your personal transactions?
Well, when I first moved here, bulk of my transactions were in Chicago.
Makes
Um,
sense.
and so my team there was doing, 50 million a year, over 100 transactions in Chicago. Then I moved here full time right away. So I kind of just did a cold turkey situation
Gotcha.
and started straight over. And then so like year 1, let's say I had 18 transactions here, slowly my business in Chicago went down because the way that I did it, and I don't recommend this for everybody, but my business partner was very upset that I wanted to make a move. And so my business partner being my mother, so I kind of had to let her take the reins on the business for a couple years for her to cool off. In that transition, I didn't really share with my sphere that I made the move. I kind of was living in secret in Boise,
Mm.
um, because I didn't want it to affect her business. But people in Chicago, they talk. So word spread, Rachel left, Rachel went to Colorado. And so if I were to do it, not that I would do the same
Wait,
thing again.
so people said you went to Colorado. In
Yeah,
fact,
he
you went to
still my home
Idaho.
inspector's like, "How's Colorado?" I'm like, "I don't live in Colorado. I live in Idaho." "Well, where is Idaho? What's the weather like there? Is it like the Arctic?" No. Like,
That
that's
is so
how
bizarre.
ridiculous it is. East Coast too. I met a lady in a bathroom in Sedona, and she's like, "I'm from New York." And I'm like, "Oh, I live in Idaho." She goes, "Is that by Canada?" I'm like, "Yeah, no. No." But yeah, anyway. So to answer your question and like give people some context, the way that you could transition your business if you want to go into another market, because there are some agents that do this, like the Mountain Advisory Group,
Mhm.
Eric Johnson and Melissa Rayner, they're in Boston. Mostly their business is mostly in Boston, but they live in Jackson Hole. They run their team remotely from Jackson Hole, but they have an
Mm.
operations person in Boston. Um, there's another awesome agent in La Jolla. He has an agent in Denver. But again, he runs his business from California, and because of the crossover to Denver, he's added an agent and like from the Forum Group, that's the name of their team. They have, basically they have like, teammates that function in other areas. So the way that I've done it is I'm um running my business in Chicago separately right now, and
Mhm.
I'm running my Idaho business separately here. I'm in the process of creating one landing page with two separate markets that are on the same page, just to kind of keep my brand all together. Because when I moved to Idaho, I created a new brand for myself because, again, I was trying to give my mom some space,
Yeah.
um, for her to kind of like keep the business the way that she wanted it to be there. And, basically, when I was working with her for 13 years, we had started to co-brand ourselves together.
Yeah.
And so instead of continuing that, she rebranded with just her. And so it kind of like lost us momentum there. So our business in Chicago has gone down, but also Chicago inventory is down 68% since I left. So I kind
Yeah.
of saw during the pandemic, like our inventory, we used to do 70 plus listings a year. Our inventory went way down during the pandemic and
Yeah.
it has not recovered. So I saw Idaho as an opportunity of massive growth from California and all these other states. So I kind of was like, you know what? Even though I would have to start over here and there's no crossover from Chicago, I saw opportunity because of the growth of population here.
For
Now,
sure.
coincidentally, one of my past clients in Chicago did get a job offer in Idaho, and
Oh, wild.
he noticed that I was started to add Idaho to my signature of my emails, and he reached out because he would, had an interview here and wanted me to show him the area. So that was one person. And then there have been other people in Chicago now that I've started to let people know, hey, I'm also in Idaho. They've had family members who live here that I've helped sell their properties. So, needless to say, I think anywhere you go, I think you should announce in some fashion to your sphere, hey, you know, whether you want to tell them you're somewhere full time or not, but you want to say, hey, I have a branch of my business, just like I have amazing Compass agents all over the country that I could refer you to.
Yeah.
I want you to know, like, I have boots on the ground for maybe an area you're considering.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And I think it makes sense. It's all part of the marketing,
Yeah,
similar to your point about referrals is if you're not reminding people that you can help any of their family members in any state who need to buy or sell at any point, that you're the point person to call. Yeah. And I actually feel like that's overarching a massive gap in our business because
totally.
the bulk of high performing agents who audit their business, referral is the biggest slice of the pie, and they can still go deeper in that category. Like there's
Which
still more things they can
totally,
do.
which is crazy to me because in Chicago, 90% of our sellers were leaving the state, right?
Correct.
And so for 20 years, we did not capitalize on the fact that our sellers were leaving. They were going to Florida,
Yeah.
California, Arizona, and we did not grow enough referral partners at the time because Remax really did not, promote the network. They had an international network and a web page where you could go and like search for somebody, but
Yeah.
it wasn't part of our advertising at the
Yeah.
time. And now it's so important to let our sellers know, like, you want to get out of these taxes? Like, here, I have a
Yeah.
great agent in Naples for you,
The
and
Knox
being
brothers.
proactive about it. Yeah, exactly.
That's good branding. I immediately think of them when I think of Naples, Florida.
Totally.
Um, yeah, I mean, if which everybody should be doing, if everybody's sending out a minimum a monthly newsletter, it's 12 newsletters a year, and they're actually providing things of value. It's not just look at me, I'm awesome, I just sold this amazing property, but it's actual like, hey, here's some events in the neighborhood, here are things that you can do, here's a new restaurant that opened, here's some cool activities, and then always having a section so they see it and hear it 12 times a year.
Totally.
Hey, if you're thinking about doing this, I can help you.
Right.
Or here's how we helped Susie and their family when they up and moved to Naples, Florida. We
Right.
introduced them to the Knoxvillers and they had an amazing experience.
Right.
If you're thinking about buying in another city, please let me know. I'm happy to make an introduction.
Totally.
And so it's marketing, right? But I think, again, from that referral aspect, we collectively can all do a better job
100%.
of continuously talking about that. Um, but it sounds like your biggest challenge was it, it sounds like just working with family, which I've worked with family and I empathize, but
Yeah.
lines get blurred is what it sounds like was really happening.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think it and I feel for all the children of realtors and spouses of realtors that
Yeah.
everybody works differently. I think you work with your wife, right?
No,
No?
no, we did. We had a podcast together at one
Oh,
point.
maybe that's what I saw.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then we almost killed each other. And so
Yeah,
then we're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't work together like that.
100%. I know. So, I mean, I'm the same. My husband, before he was getting his undergrad degree, um, I made him get his real estate license. And then he got his real estate license and he started playing too many video games. And I was like, you're not following up with your leads. You know, you're out. Like I run a tight ship on leads. And, back then we were paying for Zillow and stuff. And I was like, if you're not follow up with your leads and you're not going to like show me your progress, like I can't work with you. So anyway, it wasn't that hard, but he was a great showing agent, but he wasn't good with follow-up and he didn't like negotiating offers. And so, but people loved, seeing houses with him.
Yeah,
But anyway, I love my mom. We just did things she's an amazing marketer. She's so creative. Like I love her.
yeah,
Um, so much, but she and I just did things differently. We still do things differently.
yeah,
She was an agent in the 90s, like, and I think I give so much props and kudos to women realtors from the 90s. They paved such a trail for us, like
mhm,
as business women, that, you can't even, like, it's so hard for people to understand, like, what they went through and what they were able to accomplish if they're still in the business now. But needless to say, I really wanted to come to Compass. My
yeah,
mom, like, literally bleeds Remax, and it was very hard for her to make the transition. It's, now she's on board, but like, that was a friction point. And I loved
yeah,
Compass because I was like, wait a second. I finally visited Idaho. I fell in love with it. And I was like, if I work at Compass, I can work in Idaho too.
for sure.
And so for years, I would contact corporate and I'm like, when are you going to have an office here? When are you going to have an office here? And they were like, we're not. And so I just, kept asking. And then finally, in July of 2021, they were like, okay, we have an office in Sun Valley.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, can I work remote? And they were like, yes. And at that time, the platform allowed you to switch between um, areas. So, I mean, I couldn't have made the transition if it wasn't for Compass. I really truly believe that because it gave me the runway and the bandwidth to kind of operate my businesses separately.
yeah,
And then, you know, um, I'm still in the process of, like I said, like rebranding under one umbrella so that I can try and do more crossover between the two areas. But
mhm,
for now, I'm flying back and forth when I have to. And then I have my team in Chicago. So if I were to give somebody some advice on like operating in two places, I think having an operations person, like for me, that's what I'm looking for right now as an operations person, just to make things more smoothly
yeah,
between the two and grow in each area together with an operations person so that I can work on my relationships in both states right now
makes
at a
sense.
better level.
Yeah, I mean, if I can inject my 2 cents because you're so remote, I would 100% find a remote ops person who
Mhm.
can handle that type of work, which actually should be pretty easy to do. And then
Yeah.
once you ramp up your marketing,
Yeah,
like they
help me
would
find
just
someone, Sean.
run that on the back end. What's up?
I said help me find someone.
I'd be happy to. I can actually introduce you to a virtual assistant who can you can interview and kind of kick the tires and see if that's the direction. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably gosh, I'm blanking on her last name. Jen is her name
Okay.
in San Diego. But she crushes it and has, I think, two or three VAs working for her.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have
Um,
one right now, but maybe an operations one would be great.
yeah, and John Jenkins, who's
Yeah.
out of Silicon Valley, he the way that he structured it is him and his business partner. I think they have two or three VAs as well. And one of the VAs, it took him about a year in total to train. So a lot
Wow.
of like checking in and making sure they're doing things to your point the way that you do things, they work the way that you work.
Yeah.
And then once they were up to speed, then they trained the next VA and
Oh,
then the
wow.
next VA. And so they're only managing basically one VA who's then
He's
managing the
managing
other
the
two
other
for
two.
them. And then they're running all the different, like if
That's
you
smart.
follow him, he's like everywhere. It's because he's got people cleaning it up all behind him.
Totally. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Um,
so regimented. I love him.
it's unbelievable. Him and Tanya, I'm always like
Yeah.
blown away. Or I'll text him like, "Man, how'd you do that?" Like, blah, blah, tell me. And he's like, "Oh, my VA. Let me introduce you." You know, another thing that's really brilliant about him, and I value this, and I learned it
Yeah.
from him. But let's say for example, you're hosting a mini agent seminar on seller leads.
Yeah.
He'll send his VA to it.
Oh,
The VA learns it and then implements it.
that's
He
so
doesn't have anything to do with it.
that's so smart.
Right?
My nugget from today, other than
Good
my
one,
10
right?
nugget. I love it.
Like if you're not going to be the one implementing it, go send the
Yeah.
person who is, and then have them create the manual for it, the ops manual, and then they execute. I think
Yeah.
that's such a brilliant way to attack it.
I love it.
And to go, I'd be willing to bet the hardest part of your day isn't the work. It's the mental load. It's the decision fatigue. It's the shuffling of priorities while you're already playing catch up. You're checking off things from your to-do list just as fast as they're getting added. And I'd also be willing to bet some of those meaningful business relationships you've had in the past have begun to fade. Ace Your Day is a physical deck of 52 strategic cards designed to halt fatigue. Refined by real world results, this system replaces chaos of a to do list with a curated set of high impact actions. It's simple: set a timer for 15 minutes, draw a card, and make your move. The deck handles the thinking, you drive the business. Building a secure business should not be a guessing game. Let's stop overthinking the day and trust a system that prioritizes connections and relationships. Let the deck handle the strategy. You focus on the results. Click the link in the description to reclaim your day 15 minutes at a time. Back to your point, too, about your mom being in the business in the 90s. I think what's really cool still is I know the stats constantly change. So there's about 2.5 million agents in the US.
Right.
70% of them are women.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, or 60, I think it's actually like 68 if I want to be specific. But that cross section then makes up the largest group of female owned businesses in the US,
Yeah.
which is pretty darn
That's
incredible.
so cool. It's such a cool business. My daughter last night was like, "Do you like your job?" And I was like, "Well, yeah,
Sometimes.
I do. Sometimes I do. I don't like my job when, cuz my little one, she's the echo chamber of my husband, like, "Get off your phone. Why are you always on your phone? Get off your phone." I'm like, "Do you like your life? Like, do you like your car? Like, just leave me alone." Like, I'm trying my best. I'm really trying with boundaries. But anyway, my older one, she's coming to my rescue a little bit right now cuz I'm like, "Look, I love my job because I don't have to be somewhere at a desk at 7:30 in the morning. Like, am I sometimes? Yes.
Yeah.
Um, am I sometimes at my desk at 10 o'clock at night? Maybe 11 o'clock at night? Yeah. But like, I could be home if you're sick, or I can drive you around sick in my back seat. Like I have flexibility that I wouldn't have if I had a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And also, like, what you put into it, you get back. Like, I am maybe overly ambitious and I set really high goals for myself, but it's because, like, I have expensive taste in dumb things. And, I'm really working on that too. But, like, I want the freedom. If I want to buy it, I want to buy it, right? Like, I don't buy designer handbags, but, like, you know, I don't know. Like, I like my coffee maker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's nice to have nice things. No, I
Yeah,
I understand.
I'm getting better. I'm gonna go to Costco more for some stuff, but
Yeah, I have a really bad philosophy of like buy once, cry once, and then have the nice thing.
ooh, what's that?
It's basically you way overspend on something, so you cry about it, but then you're like, yeah, but I got this really nice thing. And then you never have to replace it because you bought the nice one. You didn't buy
So
the one
true.
that's gonna break in 2 weeks.
That's so true. My mom was always like, and this is not maybe something most people should follow, but she was like YOLO. Like, she was like the queen of YOLO in the 2000s. She was like, you live once,
Yeah.
you die with no money, you die with no money. And I'm like, well, yeah, but now, you know, you do need to save. And I do say, please save, pay your taxes and save. That's
Yeah, I mean, I that's unfortunately a really bad aspect of being entrepreneurial
yeah,
also.
for sure.
We're the number one audited business in the US.
Totally.
And so with that, we're not notorious for keeping tight books and
Yeah.
being on top of taxes. And we also have that shitty mentality across the board of, oh, I'll just make one more sale.
Yeah, totally.
Like we go and overspend and just like, oh, I just need one more. I'll just close that deal and I'm good.
Yeah,
But
100%.
when the market shifts, which you and I both lived through a
Yeah.
couple, and your mom definitely
My
lived through
God. Yeah.
very significant in the, yeah, she's lived through a couple very significant shifts. Um,
Totally.
Knows that you need to have a little bit, especially if you have people, you have to have reserves to be able to get through those troughs because you sometimes don't know how deep or wide
Totally.
that economy is going to be. And
100%.
especially for you when you're managing and working within two markets. Um, but interestingly enough, with your market, I one of my good friends who works out of Silicon Valley moved to Sun Valley to be near her sister, and then when they opened, she moved her license to have both markets.
Oh,
And I do
Michelle?
know what's up,
Michelle? Yeah.
Michelle Engler. Yeah,
Yeah. She's awesome.
she's super cool. I really appreciate
I
her.
really respect her.
Yeah, her and I did a couple deals together while she was kind of doing that transaction or transition. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But I do know a cross section of her client base. To your point, is to our conversation earlier, is they relocate from the Bay Area. Like
Right.
tech money loves to go buy a ski home.
Totally. That's a great, I mean, that market has a ton of crossover.
Hmm.
San Francisco to Jackson, now with Wyoming, income tax laws. I mean, that's a hot market.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Idaho too.
Especially, what's up?
Like Idaho, so the other side of the pass, the mountain pass
Yeah.
from Jackson Hole is in Driggs, Idaho. And so I've been
Interesting.
referring a ton of people to Melissa Rayner for lots because my brother-in-law, I sold him a lot there before I met Melissa in Driggs, because that's the next hot spot. You have Targhee Mountain there,
Hmm.
ski mountain, and the pass is right there, but the tax benefits on the Wyoming side. So it really depends on like what you're looking for financially if you want the
Yeah.
tax benefit. So Melissa is actually licensed in Wyoming, Idaho, and Boston, which is nuts.
Holy jeez.
It's a lot of CE.
Holy cow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's funny. I'm from Connecticut originally, and I've
Oh, wow.
contemplated getting my license there. Um, yeah, eventually I'd like to pick up a little. a little hobby ranch, hobby
Oh,
farm.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Though the commute sucks. It's
That's
pretty
a
much
long
the two
flight.
furthest points in the U.S.
Yeah, that's like going to Maine, and that's
It's
far.
yeah. I mean, thankfully, not thankfully, but there is a direct flight from SF to New York, which then you can kind of rent a
And it's what,
car.
3 hour drive from there?
It depends on which pocket,
Okay.
but about 2 hours, a little
Okay.
less than 2 hours. Um, so
Yeah.
it's we'll see. We're
Yeah.
we're real estate. We dream of
Yeah.
this crazy stuff.
I know. I have a client looking for a hobby farm here in Idaho, and just the prices have gone up so much in the last few years. And last night I was like, look, my mom has a hobby farm, and she didn't move into it until she was late 50s.
Mm,
And, now she's 70. And, sorry, mom. But, it's a lot of work. Like,
yeah.
she got ducks this summer, and the ducks, I mean, God, I don't get ducks. Um, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, it's a lot. You can't leave town. You can't go on vacation uh
Yeah.
unless you have a caretaker. I mean, that's a whole thing. Like if I were Martha Stewart and I had 30 people working for me, then I would have a hobby farm. But then I feel like you have to be like a billionaire or something.
I mean, yeah, you kind of have. I mean, to your point, you do need to have. It's like it's a business basically. You have to have
Totally.
support if you're going to leave town. It's bad enough. I have a cattle dog, and I basically work for her. She's like the
Oh
worst
yeah.
foreman ever. She's like, whatever I do is not enough, and so
Oh,
she's like always
100%.
ready to go.
I had a cattle dog for 17 years. He just passed last year. And yeah, I never moved to the city of Chicago because of him. Like he lived with me in Colorado when I lived there. That's where I got him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't move to the city. Leroy, where am I going to throw the ball for him? He needs to run. And so I immediately, as a 21-year-old, moved to the suburbs,
Uh,
you know,
just for the dog. It's
just for
funny. My
him. Yeah.
clients are looking for a property now, and they consider it a condo, but they have a dog, and they're like, "No, we're gonna get a house." And then I showed them a property the other day, and they're like, "This is crazy. We're spending $3 million for a dog." I'm
You want
like,
to hear
"Yep."
something crazier than that? There's an awesome realtor at Compass I met at one of these events. I think she was living in San Francisco. And then during the pandemic, they moved to Lake Tahoe,
Mm,
and it's a
very
Saint
common move.
Saint Bernard.
Oh goodness.
And oh wait, yeah, this is the story. He would not go in an elevator. So they were trying to move back into their place in San Francisco, and he wouldn't do it. So she ended up relocating permanently to Tahoe because of this Saint Bernard not getting in an elevator.
That is hilarious. Funny enough, our dog, we got her as a puppy, and she learned to swim in Lake Tahoe.
Oh, they're such
Yeah.
good dogs. That's actually impressive for a healer. Leroy would not swim.
I don't know if she can now. She's 14 months, but she's like a little muscle. And so
Uh-huh.
I don't know how buoyant she would be at this point.
She could swim.
But she kind of thinks she's like 150 pounds
Oh yeah. They're the
and
best.
she's amazing. I'll send you a photo
So
of her.
smart.
She's such oh my god, she's so ridiculously smart.
Yeah, they're really smart. They're
I give
creepy
her
smart.
these vitamins in the morning. Um and she likes them. She loves them. And so if I give them to her before her food, she won't eat her food because she turns her nose up at her food. It doesn't taste as good. So I have to give her
Oh,
her food first, and then I can give it to her. And
I'll have
then,
to get the name of this vitamin so I can
um,
spoil my dogs.
yeah, there's two. One's for their she had allergies, so one's for her immune system, and the other one's for her coat. Amazing. Like
Wow,
it
that's
we
great.
took her off of it, and she started itching. Her eyes were red.
Oh
And
no.
we put her back on it, and totally corrected it.
Is it
So
that dog is human thing? I keep getting targeted.
No, I got targeted with those too. I was like, Jesus, you guys are spending so much money on ad spends.
Yeah, and then if you read the reviews, everyone's like, "My dog keeps throwing up." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna give my dog this vitamin." Like, get
Oh
out of here.
shit.
Yeah.
No, I'll send you the ones that I'm not going to advertise them, so I
Yeah,
won't say it on
sure.
here. But I'll send you the name, the
You
name
don't
of
need them
it.
raising their prices on you.
But yeah, I was so my background is health and fitness, and
Oh,
so
wow.
I take supplements, but I'm always very skeptical of marketing claims with
Totally.
supplements. And so when I was like researching these, I was like, is it bullshit or is it like
Yeah.
legit?
Yeah.
And so I did a whole bunch of research and then I wound up giving them to her. And again,
Wow.
I was impressed with the results. Um,
I bet. My mom had a healer and she was weaned way too early and she gave her colostrum. This is before colostrum became like a thing now. Like I saw Flav City or Bobby Parrish say talking about colostrum, but anyway, she gave Bandit colostrum and it like cured her itchies. This poor healer, she was so she was so miserable. She was allergic to everything.
oh no.
I'm like, why? You were born on like a horse farm. Like, what's the matter with you?
Well, I think it's all this processed shit they just can't,
Yeah.
their systems can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I feed her like real food, she's awesome.
Yeah, my husband's obsessed with these YouTube or like TikTok clips of this man feeding his like muscly giant dogs like raw
Raw.
food.
I've
And he's
seen
like
those.
and it's like a tray and it's like baby chicken leg, blueberries, egg. And so my daughter yesterday, I was like, "Can you feed the dogs?" And she's like, "I gave him a raw egg." I was like, "Oh, okay. Thanks."
It's actually good for their coat.
Yeah, they love it. Now every time we crack eggs in the morning, they're like, Hello?"
Oh, I always, it's so funny. Every time I open the fridge, I'm like, do I have to pay the cheese tax? And she's like, just sitting there staring at me
100%.
until I give her
Yeah.
something. Her thing is blueberries.
Yeah,
Like,
they
if I
love
give her
wild
one,
berries.
it's hilarious, but she'll put it in her mouth and then she'll run over to her bed and then she'll like literally play with it for a couple minutes. Like, she'll
Oh,
spit it out and then put it in her
so
mouth,
cute.
spit it back out, and then like paw it, and then
Loves
eventually
it.
she'll eat it.
The one
It's
blueberry.
the one blueberry. It's like the funniest,
That's so
weirdest.
cute.
She's super cute.
Like it's a tiny ball.
But I mean, that's the joy of this business is I'm able to walk her and hang out with her
Yeah.
and do my work. And if my stepsons need me, I can. To your point, you can show up if they're homesick. You're available for them.
Yeah.
I think it's challenging, but there's a lot of upsides to our business.
There
Um,
is.
on a side note, I'll share with you. I'll send it to you offline. But there's an app where they keep track of where people are moving to and from in real time. So
Oh,
if you
wow.
want to refine your marketing and really figure out,
Yeah.
like down to the zip code, where are people coming in from or
That'd be
going out?
awesome.
It's really good, especially if you're working on building relationships with agents in those markets.
Totally.
So then you literally pick up the phone and just start talking to people. And
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm hearing I was out showing property last Sunday and I walked in this new construction and I was like, "Hey, where are the people walking in here from?" And he's like, "I've seen a huge increase of people from Oregon and Washington. Like
really,
all of the sudden, like hordes of them."
is it that people are moving? Are they moving there like fresh, or is it they're coming back
No,
from
fresh.
living there during the pandemic?
Totally fresh. I guess there's like some new tax laws that are coming out this year with income
Yeah.
tax, and that's really pushed a lot of people to leave for this year.
Oh.
Um, and then um, what was the other one? Um, I don't know. Sometimes it's political. I mean, I get it. But the tax thing, I understand. We have pretty low income tax here.
Mhm. Yeah, and usually, when you hit a certain bandwidth of people making money, they borders tend to go away for them.
Yeah.
Like Zuckerberg, they announced the tax in California. Zuckerberg up and moved to Florida.
Yeah. Right.
Like Elon Musk left, went to Texas. A bunch of people went to Texas, and so I think for agents, it's really important to keep a pulse on that. And then to go back to the way point earlier, if you're staying in communication with people and you're communicating with them, hey, if you're thinking about making this strategic move, I can help. Just call me.
100%. And I think that ties into to like if you're evaluating maybe you've been in your career 10 years and you're like, I'd like to go to Arizona more, and there's more people in your market moving there. Like it's a great time to link up with
Yeah,
either an established agent or a growing agent,
yeah,
partner with them for referrals to begin with. And then, as you start to transition, you know, like I have a friend who's moving here from Washington. She's a Compass agent. It's the same thing. Like slowly, we work referrals and then, we work with each other. And then that way, if she still wants to do her business in Washington, she can.
mhm.
But she has a landing page to start growing her business here too. And I
Well,
think it's very cumulative, and back to like, how do you do it and how do you like, it's just like starting your business from scratch again, but being a little bit more strategic and then having your network, your past client network, your agent network to kind of be your soundboard in a way to
yeah,
kind of amplify you. It's different than starting as a brand new agent because you have all these skills, but it's also like you have to remember, you know, maybe you started your business doing paid leads at one point. And
mhm,
instead of doing that in this situation, you're going off of referral. Like my biggest 30% of my business last year was referral.
yeah,
When I first moved here, that was a bigger majority of my business because I didn't know that many people. I just knew my sister.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean the referral over time. That's always the it should be that
Yeah,
one line item that's constantly multiplying. And
totally.
that's to your point. If you just to Julie Grace's Burke episode, she just said, "Go make friends. If you just go make
Totally.
friends, that's all you have to do in this business."
Yeah, but don't you think it's fascinating that there are so many young people getting into this business through social media
Hmm.
and it's a virtual friend, right? Um,
Correct.
and I think especially now more than ever, it's so important to, that could be a part of your business, but right, like the algorithm can change in a day and your business is screwed. I
Hmm.
think it's so important to be in your community, get involved in a hobby,
Yeah.
something, and make sure you have more than one line.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think to your point, a mistake, a massive, massive mistake people make is with social media is they go all in, but they don't fully understand it. And the other thing simultaneously is they don't realize it's rented space. You don't
Totally.
own your
Totally.
following. And I'm an example of that. I had at one point I had 25 or 30,000 followers and Instagram shut my account down. And then I fought to get it back. They brought it back up line and then they shut it down again. I don't know what was going on in the back end. I had to like verify who I was. It was like this whole song and dance and I lost that account.
That
And
sucks.
it sucked so hard that I never put any effort in rebuilding it. I think it's an amazing vehicle, and I think you can build an incredible book of business.
Yeah.
Ali Buscemi started in Raleigh,
Yep.
brand new agent, and just hit the ground really hard with that silo of her business on YouTube, and she's crushing it. But again, my cautionary tale is that's just rented space. Make sure you have
Totally.
other silos. You have to insulate your business, which is not dissimilar of, if there's a pandemic, how are you
100%.
insulated? If you're only doing open houses and you can't, what are you then doing? You should have
100%.
two or three really strong things that you're continuing to do. Not you don't do them as a hobby and you don't do them sometimes when you feel like it, but they're the things that are always like every Saturday and Sunday I'm at an open house. Every Wednesday I'm posting a YouTube
Totally.
live. Every Thursday I'm going to a community event. And it's like those are your three. I think if any agent just cut all the crap out of their life and they just had three things
Right.
on a long enough timeline, you are going to have an amazing book of business as long as you're intelligent and you know the market.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's so important. I always tell people, I always try to like, I don't know, I try to mentor newer agents, but some of them are so new that they don't, I don't know, it's almost like they don't want to hear it. You have to have at
No,
least 4 branches, like 4 categories.
agreed. Yeah.
And if you don't have 4, like, it's you won't, I really truly believe like you won't maximize your business. Um and maybe that's like bullheaded on my part, but like I don't
No, I think there's legitimacy to it. I think, again, I feel like if you I relied heavily on open houses. And I remember Anita, the sales manager, was like, what if that gets taken away from you? What else are you doing?
yeah,
And I was like cocky and I was like, "Ah, I don't need anything else." But then 5 years later, we had a pandemic and I was like, holy shit.
right.
And so it really forced me to recalibrate and really look at these things. But I think when it comes to mentoring, there's there's always two camps of agents who bring on people. There's the I love them when they're green because they don't have bad habits, and then there's the I want to make sure they have some sales in the hopper
Yeah.
before I work with them. But that's I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer, but I
It's
think
so hard
coachability.
because the green people don't realize like how vital and important your experience is.
I don't
Like they really don't get it.
know.
Like I could tell someone, "Hey, I've had 2,000 sales." Like I'm literally like a bank of information. Like you can pretend I'm a charge card, like, you know, y- just use me for information to help you
Yeah.
amplify and like hit the ground running, right? And then they're like, "Well, I don't, it doesn't matter."
Well,
Like,
here's the other funny thing is they're brand new. Like let's say they're brand new and they work with you. You have 2,000 sales under your belt. They they get a few at bats. You give them the assist. They close, let's say, 3 deals back to back. They're like, "Oh, this is easy. I can do
yeah,
this on my own." But
totally.
they don't realize that how much of that you brought to the table so they can get there. I
Yeah.
personally think one thing that's and I'm hopeful and I'm glad for this. I think the best byproduct of the decoupling of commissions is it's really hard for new agents. And I think that's a good thing
Yeah.
because that means they have to attach to a Rachel who has an incredible track record. And they then have to learn, they have to do the apprenticeship under you, and thus they're learning. And I
Yeah.
think that is so incredibly important for the consumer. They're now getting, they're not getting that green agent who's kind of winging it and maybe asking for help, but now they're actually getting you
Yeah.
with that other person. And I feel like that's a really good thing for the actual customer.
Totally. I'm still looking for the right, like that right personality. And I think that too, like if like I know most of the people listening are obviously like experienced, but I think my new mentality is instead of bringing on a team member or bringing on an agent,
Hmm.
I think if I were brand new, I would want a licensed assistant. I would want to be a licensed assistant so I could learn how to do everything and maybe make a piece of each deal or maybe get paid per activity or whatever it is,
Hmm.
but then you're not committed to like rebranding your team and redoing all this stuff and then like having that person not work out after a few months or a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever, but like almost like an apprenticeship,
Oh,
this is like we're like blacksmiths and like these people are learning a skill and they need to put in their time and they need to learn literally every aspect of this business.
Yeah.
Like, and then, you know, let's say they get to a certain point where they're like, okay, I'd like to get my own clients or whatever. And then they can maybe help train the next person into this apprenticeship thing. But I'm like, maybe we need to change, the mold so that, we are able to, like I said, like if you're in a different market and you want to try out a new state, it'd be almost like the same thing. Like I'm in San Francisco, I want to go to LA or whatever. Maybe I start, doing licensed assistance things for a team so I can learn the paperwork, the
Yeah.
process, the laws, like what's different about your area, and then transition or whatever. But I think that's another interesting thing is just like all the different ways that we do it. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm on the same. I'm with you. My dad owned a company and they made surgical staples. And
Oh
so when
wow.
I was, he started the company when I was really, really little. So I kind of grew up there on weekends. And then when I got to my teens, I got an apprenticeship to be a tool maker. And
I'm
to do the apprenticeship, you have to have X amount of hours of drilling, X amount of hours of grinding, X amount on the
Mhm.
lathe. And I had to have all of these hours plus classroom time
Wow.
before I can get my actual journeyman's card. And so it was this very robust
Cumulative.
process. And
Yeah.
electricians have it, plumbers have it. And I feel like this industry, it's flipping crazy that we're working with people on one of their largest, if not their largest assets. And you can do it with a wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, you should have X amount of hours of transactional work, X amount of showing times, X amount of whatever it may be. Like,
Yeah.
walking proper, all these different aspects of it. And maybe that's something, now that I'm like thinking out loud, maybe that's something that's the team training. Like if you bring
You
on
know
an
what?
agent,
We should
like
have Susan
maybe
do it.
there's there's a card to it. And then
Yeah.
when you do when you get your hours, here's your bonus check.
Yeah.
Here's 20 grand of a
Yeah.
bonus check for accomplishing all your hours.
Totally.
Like that's for a brand new person, that's incentive.
Absolutely, because how many people do you find that are like, "I just need a check," or "I just, they've been working for 6 months and they haven't gotten a dime,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's no way to get into the feeling of a business when you're working with someone's asset and you're like, they're so, like, desperately hungry for money, you
So
know?
here's a crazy stat for you: 2.5 million agents in the U.S. 1.7 million last year did no transactions.
That's so
70% did
crazy.
nothing.
I don't get it.
That's crazy. That's
It's
a
crazy.
crazy. I mean,
You
not
should
only.
have to do one to keep your license.
I mean, I think that's very generous.
No kidding. I mean, that's a liability.
That's what I'm saying is, and I think to the consumer, from the consumer's perspective,
Yeah,
like
I know.
they deserve more. Like
My favorite is when they're like, "Do you have a cap on your commission?" Like, if you're bringing on a teammate and they're like, "Does your company have a cap?" And I'm like, "Who No, and who cares? Because what's 0 of nothing?"
what's zero? What's 100% of zero, my friend?
Yeah, like, what?
Mark Cuban was like
Yeah.
they were arguing at one point. They were negotiating,
Yeah.
and Mark Cuban said, "Would you like 100% of a grape or a percentage of a watermelon?"
That's so good.
And yeah, and I will straight up tell people we're going to meet a few times to figure out if we're on the same page, and if commissions come up, we're not going to be in alignment. Like if
Totally.
that's the only thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
I similarly, I had somebody on my team, and unfortunately, I had to let him go. But they're renegotiating with me, and I'm like, you have no numbers.
Yeah.
Like you haven't. We're literally talking about air. Like
Yeah.
you haven't put up any numbers,
100%.
and you want a bigger split. Like
Look, I was on 50-50 with my mom for 11 years with my mother. And I would have gladly continued to pay 50-50 forever if
Yeah.
I knew that she put in the other 50% of the effort, right?
Yeah.
Like I it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like, what are you, you know?
Well, it's similar to a marriage, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some days you're both awesome and you're
Yeah.
both providing 50-50. Some days you're just eating it and you're
Totally.
tired, you're off,
Yeah.
you're hungry, and you can only do 30%, which is
Totally.
fine.
Yeah.
They add 30% and make up your difference. And then some days they're eating it and they're
Totally.
showing up at 20%.
Yeah.
And I think when you step back and that person you're working with, like I work with Nancy now and we're totally on the same page and I really
Yeah.
appreciate her. And there's some deals we get to the end and I'll be like, I didn't really do much and you did a lot.
Yeah.
Let's recalibrate this one. Like I
Yeah,
don't
because
think
it's
it
all
was.
about the big picture, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, friends, I have a small favor to ask. For me to continue to bring you outstanding guests who share their best kept secrets for growing a successful real estate business, please take a moment and hit that like button so agents like you can find this content. And also hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Now, back to our show.
I mean, it's like the whole thing with Compass right now. And like this week, I feel like, honestly, can I tell you something?
Sure, let's hear it.
Between my workout class drama and the Compass opt in, opt out, and then this Redfin thing this week, I am emotionally so drained that like I'm about to go to a 2-hour restoration yoga class because I feel like my brain is so fried from like the arguing of this person's not aligned with me and my values and like communication and you know, like, like you just said, it's like a partnership. Any relationship you have is a
Yeah,
partnership deep down, right? Like if
for
you
sure.
if you feel like your friend's not calling you anymore and you're the only one putting in, like what happens to your friendship, right? So, like with this whole thing, if Compass at the beginning would have just said, "Hey, guys, we are giving you 60 million more views if you're private exclusive," because between you and me in Idaho, private exclusive is like garbage because the only people are seeing it are the 10 full-time people in my office. Okay. Like, so I'm thrilled about this, number one. But then everyone's like, oh, it's a discount brokerage. Like, I don't want to be associated. Your listings are on there anyway. Who the hell cares? Okay.
Yeah.
Second of all, thanks Compass for adding my face and my phone number to my listing on this piece of garbage discount brokerage website that
Yeah.
60 million people are on.
Yeah.
I'm like, but if they would have sent that out first and then this opt in, opt out after, like, don't you think they'll like, because all this week it's like, well, I don't get any leads from them or they're scams or this or that. And I'm like, I'm happy to get one of something than nothing. And I'm happy to get,
Yeah.
to me, they're providing me value because at least they're trying. Like I worked at Remax forever. I grew up with Remax my entire life. The brokerage was like, "Oh, we gave you satellite advertising. We were the first to have satellite." Okay. Like, welcome to the internet. Like, I don't care. Like, we
Well,
gave you the balloon. Oh, I paid $25,000 every 5 years for a balloon in the sky? Cool. Like, "Oh, we gave you commercials." Like,
you
no,
know what I
like
find is hilarious about all of that? You're like, that's great. That's branding you.
yeah. Yeah, you're
That's
not branding
like
me.
that's what you're doing for you to
Yeah,
get more agents to compete with me. So what do you do? Like that's not for me.
100%. I don't know. So anyway, I know you have to cut me off, but like I think at the end of the day it's like it's all about like how you
Optics.
communicate your value and
Yes.
I don't know. I think
Well,
everyone's talking about nothing.
I think simultaneously there's a syntax, right? There's you have to always do, to go back to like a relationship or a first date, like the kiss has to be in the right time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's out of
Yeah,
order and it's weird. And
totally.
to your point, it's like you show the value and then show like how you arrive there. And
100%. My gym
like,
was like, "We're gonna raise your fee from 150. You've been paying 150 for 4 years. We're gonna raise it to 350 next in 6 weeks, but we're gonna
yeah,
provide you so much value."
yeah. So I worked at a gym, and we radically jumped up prices similarly. But the promotion for 1 month prior was they were putting $100,000 in updates and renovations. And so there were signs around the gym. There
Yeah.
were like movers moving machines in. They were repainting. And then it was, oh, by the way, to offset this, the new rates are, new rates of the new year are going to be this. And sure, there was still a lot of people complaining and people dropping out. Complainers are always going to complain.
For sure.
Like that's just the way it is. Like that's if you
Yeah.
just look at humans' natural default settings, like that's just what's going to happen. But the people who were coming and using the equipment were stoked that it was all new
Yeah,
and happy to pay it. And not for
totally.
nothing. If you're at that price point then and there are people dropping off, that's great because come New Year, it's not a crowded gym. You have
Totally.
a great
Yeah,
experience.
that's so true.
Um, yeah, and to go back to, let's say, a listing presentation, if you give price, if I say the watch is $15,000, you're like, that's flipping crazy. I would never pay it. But if you first hear this watch takes 1 year by master craftsmen to actually create, they use only the finest metal and they're only
Right.
producing five. In the past 10 years, they've all doubled in price
Right.
within the first year after purchase. And now it's a whole different frame around that
Totally.
thing. And so, yeah, I think it's to your point, I think framing, pre framing, framing, and then reframing if they're not getting the right message. Those are three
So
incredibly
true.
powerful sales tools that we should all be using. And to your
Yeah,
point, sometimes you just have to say fuck it and go to the gym.
no kidding.
That's it.
Like, you guys, let's all get along.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of like random news to your point that just dropped. And then one of when I first started in a business, my cube mate kind of won over John, super nice guy, passed away. And
Oh,
that reframed me. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, none of this is that important. Like this is all very finite
Yeah,
and
so true.
let's just kind of make the best of it because at the end of the day, all this little
It
stuff
doesn't matter.
doesn't
Like,
matter.
you had one question on your questionnaire. It was like, "What would you want people to know about you that most people don't know?" And I've never
Hmm.
thought about that question before, like, ever. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes when you answer that question, you're like, "Oh, I would love people to know that I make a great scone." Like, no, like, what a and I was thinking about it and, like, how it related to my business, and I was like, "Gosh," like, you know, and this all came full circle for me yesterday because I was dealing with a really tough closing, and I messaged, Jesse Rivnak, from, North Carolina or
Hmm.
South Carolina? Gretchen Coley, she's on Gretchen Coley's team.
I know the name.
Um, they're amazing. Um, anyway, she has this method. It's called Wise Mind Method, and I actually recommended her to be on the podcast next because
Hmm.
my degree's in psychology from college, and I met her
Fascinating.
at the San Francisco thing, and it kind of like tied back to like this question you had, and I was like, God, why do I care so much? Like, why does it literally keep me up at night? Like, why do these deals keep me up at night?
Yeah.
Or why do like I was like in Hawaii on vacation with my family and I'm like thinking, God, my listing like hasn't sold yet. And I'm like, I feel so bad for my sellers and like I feel like I've tried to give them the best advice I can and like tears you apart,
It
right?
does. It does.
And so I was going through this question and I'm like, I care so much, like too much.
Mm.
And it's because like I literally grew up as a caretaker as a kid. Like for my dad had MS when I was 6.
Oh goodness.
And so I'm like, I never really like put the job and like the childhood trauma like wheel together until last night. I was like,
Oh,
God, like, because when I
interesting.
literally started in the business was right when I moved him into a nursing home when I was 20, 21. And um and like literally between my clients and visiting him every week and bringing him his favorite Chinese food, like that was my 20s. Like I didn't go out and party. Like it was me caring for my dad and me caring for my clients. And it created this like terrible, horrible, like have no boundaries emotional attachment to my clients and like their experiences.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I'm 39 years old. I really need to like learn how to take a step back and realize that my clients are owning their choices, right?
Mhm.
As an agent, like we can only give them the advice that we have and the experience that we have and let them make these choices. And Jessie put my problem in her system that she's created, and it spit back this information back to me about like
Huh.
it was honestly, Sean, like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it gave me a response to share with them of like, you know what? You're right. Like, we made these choices together. Like, I'm sorry things didn't work out the way that we both wanted them to, but it wasn't for lack of me trying and me personally investing in your sale. And furthermore, like, I cared so much about you as a person and as a client. And
Yeah.
maybe I should have just, you know, not that I should have not cared about you, but like maybe I should have given you more information so that you could truly own what happened and have it not be a reflection of me, you know?
Interesting.
It was so interesting.
Yeah. That's pretty profound, actually.
Yeah, because we take things personally because
We
we put
do.
so much in personally, you know?
Yeah. 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 The lines do get blurred because you feel very invested in your client's best interest. But
Yeah,
at
like
the end of
we're
the
like the
day,
good friend calling them all the time and sending them things and then the closing happens and you're like,
now we're divorced.
"Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird. It's really weird. Yeah, and it's like shocking. Like we're gonna talk every day, then we're not gonna talk at
you
all
know."
ever. And you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah, it's a really bizarre. It is bizarre, and I've been guilty of it too. You get very emotionally connected, and I similarly had a conversation with Nancy because she was feeling really bad that the clients bought at the top of the market. Now the property's under, and I'm like,
Same thing.
we
Yeah.
don't make up the market. We
No,
convey it and then we educate so the client can make their best choice with the information at hand.
totally.
But it's really hard to, I get it, like, because I have trouble doing it, but like separating us and them. And I love that you went to school for psychology. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm a
I wish
butt.
we spent more time talking about that.
I just
I love it.
this room.
That is super cool. I feel like if I had a do over and I was actually a really good student, I probably would have gone to school for psychology. I think sales psychology and marketing and the business, I think it's absolutely fascinating to me. And
I
I've
know,
read
I wish
more
I
books.
minored in business. I think that would have really helped me, but,
Yeah.
I went to college when I was 17 and I didn't really know what I know. I didn't really know what I was signing up for. I just knew I loved science. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be in biology. And
Yeah. I think so. I think school, that's a whole nother rant that I have, but I think there's
yeah.
way too much pressure on, and I kept telling my two sons, I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. You're
you
just
every year you should take a screw off class. Something that doesn't matter. It may not pay off. You're just curious about.
Do you know what I took? Nordic literature.
I love it. Like, and as you should. And you're like, hey, this is really cool. And that's it. Like, you should just explore. And
I
then
was with the whole football team and they're like, "Can I see your homework?"
they
I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
um, I love that question that it like sparked all that for you.
Yeah.
Um, my mother passed away a year and a half ago,
Mm,
and I was reading
broccoli.
this. It was, I don't even know who put it together, but it was questions to ask your parent. And there were some really cool
Gosh.
ones. And the two that always stick with me, and I regret not having the opportunity to ask, is what was the greatest moment of your life? Just to hear what your
Yeah.
parent has to say. But what's your most proud moment of me?
Mm. Oh
Like,
my God.
and
What a
it's really,
question.
and it's curious because
Oh,
it's like uh, both of us are obviously adults. We're deep into our
yeah.
careers, and it's very. I'm very curious of what my
Yeah.
mother's perception, like what age would she have picked? What was
Yeah.
that thing? I'm just curious
That's
of
such a
that
good question.
conversation.
Gosh, I have a moment yesterday. I'm like, I want to write this down about my daughter. She wanted to walk home alone. She's walked home alone before, but like it was the moment where she was like, I want to walk home alone. Why can't I walk home alone?
She's
She
hitting
wanted
that
her
age.
independence, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to you. And then my husband was like, no, you know, he's like a helicopter dad.
yeah.
He's like, we need
I
to
mean,
teach
that's
her jujitsu first.
hell yeah.
I'm like, okay, chill out, Vin. It's like 3 blocks, but yeah,
Yes, please
I
get him
love
into
that question.
jujitsu.
Oh yeah, she loves to
100%.
wrestle.
Uh, Yeah, I am a firm believer of boys and girls. Everybody should take some sort of martial art. Like,
Hundred
I think
hundred
it gives you
percent.
such, I think it gives you, everybody says discipline. It just teaches you that hard work is important.
Well, and
And
it teaches your
that's like,
body to respond in a situation, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like okay, we're all animals, right? Like deep down. And people have been talking about how we're so comfortable because we've created all these like shelters for ourselves and like these warm beverages and like all these things. And
yeah,
like if you're in a fight, like that brings out like your inner animal and
yeah,
like you need to learn your reaction, right? Like you need to learn your response
yeah,
because it's
you
like if you
do.
fall down the stairs and you haven't been weightlifting, like, you're in way worse shape than if you had fallen down the stairs and, like, you'd been, like,
Yeah,
strong, you know?
100%. I mean, one of my closest friends, him and I ran a martial arts school together.
Oh, wow.
He's
You've
now
done
a
so
professional
much.
bodybuilder. He's a little bit older than me, so he's over 50, and he races motorcycles.
Wow.
Crashed at 130 miles an hour and walked away with like a bruised hip.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
yes, to your point,
god.
being physically strong does have a lot of massive
Yeah.
upsides.
Well, Sean, you're really inspiring. You've lived a lot of lives.
I've have.
Oh, cool. I've lived the same I mean, I have lived maybe 2 lives, but, like, same job, and I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side is I feel like I wish that I had a more linear life, and I certainly have not.
No. It's made you who you are.
Yeah, but again, I think I'm always curious of people and psychology, and I think that's part of what steered me in all these random weird
100%.
these weird directions.
I love
I'll
what you're
share with you
doing.
one more quick thing.
Yeah.
Um, we came up with this probably like it was pre-pandemic. Um, and it's totally doable. It's not that hard, but no phones at the table at
Oh, I
dinner.
love that.
And if you pull them out, you get 20 push-ups.
Ooh. Ooh, I
And so
like it.
here's the rule. If you're in a deal and it's blowing up and you know your phone's in your pocket and it's like buzzing and you know you have to address it, you say, "Hey everybody, do you mind if I get up and go in the other room and take this?"
Wow.
Or if you're at a restaurant, you have to go outside.
Like, have manners?
You have to have, you can't,
Ooh,
like, no phones at the table. And
I
then at the
love it.
table, here's the other thing. We always carve out time to do rose, bud, thorn.
Oh, we call it poppy thistle. What was the other one?
Oh, there you go. You
Bud
got one.
thistle poppy. My 3-year-old niece does this with her mom and dad every night. I'm like, we're gonna have to adopt this, but we're not regimented, you know. But I love it.
Yeah. And that just, it's as your kids get to teens, you won't see their eyeballs anymore. They're just going to
Yeah,
be
I
staring at
know.
phones. And so
No, we're
it's
gonna
just a
help.
really nice way to get even like 30 minutes out of everybody.
Yeah,
And you hear like a little bit more deeply about their day. So I hope that
totally.
helps.
The other thing I love is right, but my aunt passed away last year from brain cancer, and
Oh,
she
goodness.
was my daughter's pen pal.
Oh, sweet.
And you know what? like, you know how Robert was like, write personal notes?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think 2026 has to be the year of personal notes
Yeah.
because my daughter, like, found one of my aunt's cards the other day, and I was just like, "Ugh, like, how special that you have this piece of time with her," you know? Um, and it's
Yeah.
just, like, it's so important. Like, even I have letters from my mom to me when I was in college, like, when your boys go to college, like,
Mm.
or if they go or whatever, like, send
Yeah.
them letters. It's so cool.
And you know, the other beautiful thing is your daughter is going to have those for life.
Yeah,
And
I
she's
save cards.
always
I'm a
like
hoarder.
that moment is she's always going to have. You and I both know Sky very well,
Yeah.
and him and I had a conversation, and you know, there's a ton of distractions. There's AI, there's new widgets,
Yeah,
there's marketing, there's this, there's that. But he and I are on the same page. The true currency of real estate in the future are relationships.
100%.
And you know, carving out a couple minutes a day to write a handwritten note to a past client. Like, you know, I haven't, hey, wow, it's already been 10 years since I helped you purchase your home. I was, you know, going through some paperwork and I saw your name and it made me smile. Like,
Yeah.
and you send them a handwritten note. Let me ask you this. You go out to your mailbox, you pull out a handful of mail, and you flip through it really quick. You probably skim past all the number 10 envelopes, which are the rectangular bills. And then you see a brightly colored, let's say
Yeah.
pink envelope that's handwritten.
Yeah.
Which one do you open first?
100%.
Like,
100%.
there's a, I think if agents do nothing else but just two handwritten cards a day, by the end of the year will have changed the course of your business.
And and touched someone's heart. Like,
Yes. An
you know?
authentic, beautiful, like
Yeah.
such a nice, like, you know, again, how fast do we dismiss a text or how fast do we
Yeah.
ignore an
Just goes
email?
away.
But how nice is a handwritten card? And then additionally, how long do we keep those for? If it's really nice and thoughtful, you just shared your daughter has cards from your aunt that she's going to keep for her lifetime.
Totally. Yeah.
And so
I have them on my rear view, what do you call it? The
the
thing
rear
that,
mirror in your car
yeah,
or the visor.
the visor. I, like, put stuff up there, you know?
I love
And
that.
I or, like, on my side, my husband came and, like, organized my car because it's a shit show every weekend. He's like, "Wait, this is where your special notes go." Because I do like to keep my n I love to reminisce. It's, like, my
Yeah.
favorite thing. I it's very hard for me to get from the get out of the past, but,
Yeah.
like, I just love it. I think it's special. But
Yeah.
I think totally that's a great nugget. 2
Yeah.
cards a day, you could do that. Anybody could do
I,
that.
I mean, if it's for the amount of time it takes for us to take a shower, brush our teeth, and do our hair, you can write two cards.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally feasible habit, practice that, you know, I would venture a guess that 90% of agents are over caffeinated. And so that first cup of coffee in the morning, as it's brewing, sit down and write a
Yeah.
card. What a
That's a
great
great
way to start.
thing.
Like,
Yeah.
what a great trajectory for your brain of
Totally.
like, let me think of somebody to be incredibly grateful for.
Totally. That's a
Like,
great habit stack. That's a really
right?
good habit stack. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go put some cards and some pens next to my coffee maker because
I love that.
I love it.
Tag me if you do that. Take a picture of it and
I
just
will.
tag me on social.
I'm
I
going to.
really, yeah, yeah, I think so much of this business we we make so complex and we
Oh
get
my god.
so distracted by noise. But if you just go back to like the structure
Yeah.
of the psychology of forming a relationship and just do
Totally.
that,
Yeah.
like hey, I was just thinking about you. Hope you're well.
It's like Brian Buffini on repeat.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I think Socrates
honestly.
says learning is remembering. And so if we just
Totally.
remember what it took for us to build a friendship when we were 7 and we do that now,
Yeah.
our business will
100%.
be fine.
Oh yeah.
Rachel, this was amazing. I really
Oh, thank
I
you.
enjoyed this so much and I
Me
enjoyed
too.
our little tangents and twists and turns. This
I
was really
know.
fun.
Thank you. Me too. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. I'm so excited to I don't know. I don't know how I got your newsletter from the beginning, but I love it. And it's like
Thank
a
you.
highlight of my week. And I just think like you said, with all the noise, it's not negative, it's informative, and I feel like it makes us all feel like seen and heard in a way to hear each other share
Yeah.
because I don't know about you, but I'm very guilty of this and I need to do an audit of my time on my social media this week because I'm I'm so sick of it. Like it's just such bullshit and I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't give anybody anything.
No, I think so. Here are my two thoughts on social media, really, or my one thought on social media, and then time auditing, really quick. Not to turn this into a coaching session, but I had a business coach at one point, and get a notebook, and this is crazy, but set
Yeah,
a timer for every 15 minutes of your day.
that's so smart.
And every 15 minutes, just write down one, like 3 words, whatever it is. Like write
Yeah.
down what you're doing in that moment. And at the end of the week, just review it and just observe it. And
Yeah.
you'll be floored
What
at
you're
how much
doing.
downtime we actually have. And to go back to the point of how much time we actually have to write 2 cards,
Yeah.
where we're so busy, but the reality is when you do that, you realize you're not. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is you'll realize where your time sucks are. And then I think on the social media side, if we stop consuming,
Yeah.
but instead like type in a tag of like realtor and then only go on and write a thoughtful response to what they do and either send it to that person directly or a comment, but a real thoughtful response. So
Hmm.
you're proactively building relationships online, but not consuming,
Okay.
like not
It's so
taking,
hard.
but giving. It's really hard. It's really hard to stop yourself from just scroll, 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 scroll. But listening to somebody's rant on real estate and saying, hey, that was a really thoughtful perspective that you shared about X, Y, and Z. My takeaway is this.
Yeah.
And actually giving them the gift of being heard.
Yeah.
And thus you'll build the relationship. But if you then simultaneously did that with, let's say, your feeder market for Sun Valley, and let's say your feeder market is Palo Alto, and you just targeted Palo Alto agents,
Mm-hmm.
like it can't not multiply your business.
Yeah, totally.
So,
That's a really good point. I'm gonna say that.
yeah.
Proactive.
No, if I can just do all this stuff, I'd be amazing.
That's what that's what the VAs are for, but keep it personal.
It's true. Yeah, I think there's aspects of the business we should give away. And then there's like feeling grateful by writing a card. That's
Yeah.
something you shouldn't give away. That's
Yeah.
your gift. That's
So
my rant for today.
thank you so much. All right, well, I'm gonna go to yoga and detox my nervous system, but I love you and thank you. And I can't wait to see you in California, maybe in the fall.
Yeah, let me know anytime you're coming out. We'll have to go. We'll do lunch or dinner or something.
Yeah. Camille has to finish reading all of the Harry Potters, and then I said we're gonna do a California trip. So
Amazing. What a good on you for creating a healthy goal
yeah.
with an amazing reward attached to it.
Yeah, she's not very happy about it, but yeah, we're working on it.
I mean, but you know what? I mean,
You will be.
that's one of those things in life when she's older, she'll be like, wow, I got through the whole series and
Yeah.
I got this amazing reward. So now she
Yeah.
views hard
Alone
work
time with
as
mommy. Yeah.
that's incredible.
With a butterbeer. All right, cool. Thanks, Sean. I'll see you later. Bye.
That's a wrap.